Dear students, yesterday we studied general characteristics of alkaline earth metals. Today we study the chemical properties of alkaline earth metals. We know the members of alkaline earth metals. That means group number 2, beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. These are the members of group number 2, alkaline earth metals. Like alkali metal, the first member beryllium is having a different property than the other elements. So there is a distinctive property for the first element, beryllium, in group number 2. Like alkali metal, beryllium is also smaller in size. So the first element, beryllium, is small in size. Then it has high polarizing power. Generally, first element of group number 1 and 2 are forming covalent compounds because of high polarizing power. After forming ionic compound, the smaller cation will polarize the anion so that the bond becomes covalent in nature. So due to high polarizing power, it exhibits different properties. Next, we take the periodic properties. Ionization energy, electronegativity will be high for the first member because ionization potential and electronegativity decreases from top to bottom. So first member has high ionization potential and electronegativity. And next there is absence of d orbital. Beryllium has atomic number 4. Electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2. It does not have d orbital. So the first member of alkaline earth metal, beryllium, is having a distinctive property because of these points. So we are going to compare the properties of beryllium with other elements present in group number 2. Remaining members in alkaline earth metal is magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. The first element, beryllium, will be different from the other elements in group number 2. What is the first difference? Beryllium will form covalent compounds. As I told already, even though ionic bond is formed, a covalent character is induced due to high polarizing ability of beryllium. So it forms covalent compounds, but remaining members in group number 2, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, radium, will form ionic compound. So the bond will be ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Second difference, due to smaller size, it has a high melting as well as boiling point. Comparing beryllium, the remaining elements will have low melting point as well as boiling point. Then third comparison, how it reacts with water. Beryllium will not react with water even at high temperatures. So at elevated temperatures, the reaction between beryllium and water will not take place. But remaining members will react with water easily. Then fourth difference, reaction with the hydrogen. A direct combination of beryllium with the hydrogen is not possible. We expect the formation of beryllium hydride, but directly hydrogen cannot be combined with the beryllium to form beryllium hydride. But remaining members can easily form hydrides. For example, magnesium combines, it forms magnesium hydride or calcium hydride. So reaction with the hydrogen can be possible directly in case of remaining members in group number 2. Then number 5. How this reacts with the halogen. Usually alkaline earth metal will combine with the halogen, it forms metal halide. Right. Metal combines with halogen, it forms metal halide. This is direct combination. So direct combination is not possible in case of beryllium. Beryllium will not combine with the halogen directly to form metal halide. Beryllium halide cannot be formed. So indirect methods can be adopted. Instead of halogen, we can take some other compounds to prepare metal halide. So by adopting other methods, we can prepare metal halide, but its nature will be a covalent. This will be an ionic in nature, like a calcium chloride. Calcium chloride is ionic in nature. It forms calcium 2 plus and a Cl minus. This is an ionic compound. But formed beryllium halide will not be ionic in nature. It will be covalent in nature. Sixth property. The formation of oxides and hydroxides. Beryllium combines with oxygen, it forms beryllium oxide. It combines with water, it forms beryllium hydroxide. Usually metal oxides and metal hydroxides will be basic in nature. Magnesium oxide, magnesium hydroxide, calcium oxide, calcium hydroxide. Usually this will be basic in nature. But beryllium oxide and beryllium hydroxide is amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric means having the property of both acid and base. So it behaves as acidic and basic oxide, acidic and basic hydroxide. So it is amphoteric in nature. The remaining members will form basic oxide and basic hydroxides. And point number 7. Formation of oxide layer. Beryllium combines with oxygen. There is a formation of oxide layer, right? So a passive oxide film will be formed easily. Okay. So when we add any acid like nitric acid, the acid will not attack beryllium because already it forms a beryllium oxide. On the surface of metal beryllium, an oxide layer will be formed. It is passive or inert in nature. So other acids cannot combine with beryllium. But this is not possible in other metals, right? So other metals can be easily attacked by acids. Next. We take carbides, beryllium carbide as well as carbides of other elements. The beryllium halides can be added with water. It liberates methane, but remaining carbides will liberate acetylene. So beryllium carbide during the hydrolysis process liberates methane. Other elements in group number 2 will liberate acetylene. Next, hydrolysis. It can be extensively hydrolyzed. So comparing the other members of alkaline earth metal, it can be extensively hydrolyzed. So solubility will be more than the other elements. They are also hydrolyzed. This is extensively hydrolyzed. So these are the distinctive behavior of beryllium in group number 2. Next one, diagonal relationship. lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, like that we may write elements of period number 2. Then period number 3, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, silicon, phosphorus, like that we may write. So what is the diagonal relationship? The diagonally placed elements in period number 2 and 3 will have similar property. It is called what? Diagonal relationship. Second and third period elements are diagonally placed with similar properties. They are called diagonal relationship. So beryllium is a metal in group number 2 and period number 2. Aluminium is a metal in group number 13 but period number 3. So diagonally placed elements will have similar properties. So we call them as elements with a diagonal relationship. For these two elements, the electronegativity value is the same. The electronegativity of beryllium as well as aluminum value is same, 1.5. We expect size should also be approximately equal, but here size is different. If you take the radius of beryllium cation and the radius of aluminum ion, size is different, 0.45 angstrom as well as 0.54 angstrom. Even though radius is different, the charge per unit area is the same. So charge per unit area for beryllium ion is 2.36. Charge per unit area for aluminum ion is 2.5. So electronegativity of diagonally placed elements beryllium and aluminum are same, 1.5. Even though atomic radius are different, 0.45 angstrom for beryllium cation, 0.54 angstrom for the aluminum cation, the charge per unit area is approximately equal, so that these two will have similar properties. So we can give many evidences to prove the diagonal relationship between beryllium and aluminum. So similarities between beryllium and aluminum. First point, both are forming dimeric structure and polymeric structure. You take beryllium as well as aluminum. The salts like beryllium chloride and aluminum chloride will form a dimeric structure. You take beryllium chloride, it exists as a dimer. Okay. And this will not end. The chain is continuing. So it will be a longest chain. So it exists as a polymeric structure also. So both aluminum and beryllium will exhibit dimeric and polymeric structure in its compound form. You can take beryllium chloride and aluminum chloride. The compounds of beryllium and aluminum will exhibit dimeric and polymeric structure. So beryllium chloride as well as aluminum chloride, due to diagonal relationship, both are having same properties. So they are covalent in nature. So the first member of alkaline earth metal beryllium will make covalent compounds. Since they are covalent in nature, it can be dissolved in non-polar solvents. That means organic solvents. Beryllium chloride, aluminum chloride are covalent in nature. So it can be dissolved in organic solvents. And they are acting as Lewis acids. Lewis acids are the compounds having the ability of accepting electron pair. So they are electron pair acceptor. So beryllium chloride and aluminum chloride are Lewis acids. second point. We take beryllium hydroxide and aluminum hydroxide. It can be added with excess of alkali. So excess of alkali like sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide will be added with the hydroxides, beryllium as well as aluminum. They are forming iron. It forms berylate ion with the evolution of hydrogen. It's called a berylate ion. The same way aluminum hydroxide will be added with excess of alkali. It forms aluminate anion. Okay, this is second similarities. Third similarity between beryllium and aluminum is how they are forming complexes. So in 12th standard we will study coordination complexes, a new concept in the field of inorganic chemistry. For the formation of a coordination complex, there should be a Lewis acid and a Lewis base, electron pair acceptor and electron pair donor. And we know that beryllium and aluminum, when they are forming the compounds, due to electron pair accepting tendency, it can easily form coordination complexes, right? So they are behaving as Lewis acids, so it has a tendency of forming complexes. Examples are beryllium tetrafluoride anion, aluminum hexafluoride anion. This is the third similarity. Then remaining points we have already completed. I repeat it. The fourth similarity. Beryllium hydroxide is amphoteric in nature. Aluminum hydroxide is also amphoteric in nature. We cannot say this is a basic hydroxide. It is amphoteric in nature. Then hydrolysis of carbides. Beryllium carbide and aluminum carbide can be hydrolyzed. It will not give acetylene, both are giving methane. So methane will be provided by beryllium carbide as well as aluminum carbide. Next, addition of acids with metals beryllium and aluminum. As I told, an oxide layer will be formed. When we take beryllium metal, on the surface of beryllium metal, beryllium oxide passive layer will be formed. Beryllium combines with the oxygen present in the atmospheric air. A passive oxide layer is formed. So acids will not attack beryllium as well as aluminum. So nitric acids can be added, it won't attack. So with this, similarities between beryllium and aluminum over. So in alkaline earth metals, we have completed distinctive behavior of beryllium, how this is different from other members of alkaline earth metals, what is the diagonal relationship between beryllium and aluminum, in what way they are having the similar properties. All these we have completed. Next, the chemical properties of alkaline earth metals. First, formation of halides. So how they are reacting with halogens to form halides. As I told, alkaline earth metal combines with the halogen, it forms metal halide, except beryllium. Beryllium will not directly combine with halogen. So compound of beryllium will be added with other substances to get beryllium halide. So direct halogenation is not possible. So except beryllium, other alkaline earth metals can undergo direct halogenation to get metal halides. Then how can we prepare beryllium halides? We take beryllium fluoride, beryllium chloride. How can we prepare it? Beryllium fluoride can be prepared from another substance, ammonium tetrafluoroberylate. Its name is, to take down, it's not given in book, ammonium tetrafluoroberylate. So when the substance is heated, it will be decomposed to produce beryllium fluoride. So direct halogenation will not be useful to prepare beryllium fluoride. The same way, beryllium chloride cannot be obtained by direct halogenation. So we take beryllium oxide, which combines with the carbon and the chlorine. At 600 to 800 Kelvin temperature, we get beryllium chloride with the liberation of carbon monoxide. So this is the way to get beryllium halides. So first chemical property over. Second chemical property, how alkaline earth metals are reacting with hydrogens. So metals react with hydrogen to form hydride. So metal hydrides will be formed. Except beryllium, other members will combine with the hydrogen to form metal hydride. Then how can we prepare beryllium hydride? For that, we take the compound beryllium chloride, which is reduced by lithium aluminum hydride. So we get beryllium hydride with the liberation of lithium chloride and aluminum chloride. So with this, chemical properties of alkaline earth metals over. Next, uses of alkaline earth metals. First, beryllium. Beryllium is having the capacity of absorbing X-ray. So due to low atomic number 4, so it has very low atomic number and very low absorbing capacity of X-rays. So it can be used in X-ray detectors. Due to low atomic number, it has a low absorption of X-ray, so it can be used as a radiation window for X-ray tubes and X-ray detectors. Then in 12th standard we will study X-ray diffraction technique. So X-ray diffraction technique is useful to find the structure of a substance. For example, you are preparing a compound in the laboratory. We go for X-ray diffraction technique as well as spectroscopy. So in X-ray diffraction technique, we use a holder. So the sample holder can be made by beryllium because it has very low absorbing capacity of X-ray. So the prepared sample will be kept in a holder. It will be made by the metal beryllium. And the beryllium is transparent in nature, so it can be used as a pipe. Okay. So what is its character? It is transparent. Last class we studied sodium hydroxide is translucent in nature. This is transparent. It allows light to pass through it. So we can build beam pipe in the accelerators using beryllium metal. Then number 4, its characteristics is it is diamagnetic in nature. How can we say that beryllium is a diamagnetic? It has only completely filled orbitals. We don't have any unpaired electrons. All the orbitals are completely filled up. So we have only paired electrons. So beryllium is diamagnetic in nature and its density is very low, so that it can be used in various detectors. Paramagnetic substance means it will disturb the magnetic property. So a diamagnetic substance will not exhibit any magnetic behavior. So the next member in alkaline earth metal is magnesium. what are the uses of magnesium? First point, it is a desulfurizer. That means it removes sulfur. So in the extraction of iron as well as steel, during this process, sulfur can be removed by using magnesium, and which is used in Kroll process also. So this is the process used for purifying titanium. So in the refining of titanium, we follow this process, Kroll process. We use magnesium, and which is used in printing industry. Magnesium is used in printing industry as photo engraved plates. Then fourth example, fourth use, this is used in aeroplane as well as missile constructions. So magnesium will be mixed with other elements or other metals. So magnesium alloy will be used in aeroplane as well as missile constructions. And important use, it is used to prepare Grignard reagent. So in organic we will study later. This is an organometallic compound, Grignard reagent. This will have a metal and an organic part. So for the preparation of Grignard reagent, we will use magnesium. Then magnesium mixed with aluminum so that its property will be improved. For example, the property like mechanical fabrication as well as welding, all these properties will be improved when magnesium is mixed with aluminum. Then it is a desiccant. Magnesium is a desiccant. That means it has the capacity of absorbing the moisture. Then next one, it is used in the galvanization process. So galvanization is the process of coating one metal on another metal. Example, zinc. Like zinc, magnesium can be used to coat on another materials. So if you take iron, iron will undergo rusting fast. To prevent it, on the surface of iron we can coat zinc or magnesium. So the metal will act as sacrificial anode. So corrosion will take place on this metal. Iron will not undergo rusting. So on the surface of iron, when we coat magnesium, this will undergo corrosion fast. So this will behave as sacrificial anode. So with this, uses of magnesium over. Next, uses of calcium. It's a very good reducing agent. That means it undergoes oxidation fast in the extraction of uranium, zirconium and thorium. So when we extract uranium, zirconium and thorium from their ores, calcium is acting as a reducing agent. Then like magnesium, it is also a desulfurizer. And it is a deoxidizer. It is a decarbonizer. So calcium can act as desulfurizer, deoxidizer and decarbonizer when we prepare alloys. Ferrous and non-ferrous alloys can be prepared. During that process, the impurities like sulfur, oxygen and carbon can be removed using calcium. Then calcium is used to prepare many industrial products like cement as well as mortar. Then calcium is used as a getter. That means having the capacity of removing gaseous impurities. So in the vacuum tubes, when we use calcium, this will remove gaseous impurities and it is used for dehydration also, for dehydrating oil. So it is used in the preparation of cement, mortar. It is used as a getter in vacuum tubes to remove the gases, impurities. It is used to remove the moisture. Okay, so in the dehydration process, this is used, especially dehydrating the oil. Then calcium is used in the preparation of fertilizers, concrete, and plaster of Paris. So we will discuss later plaster of Paris. Then uses of strontium. We take the isotope with the mass number 90. Strontium isotope with the mass number 90. This is used in cancer therapy. In the treatment of cancer, we use this isotope. And other isotopes can also be taken. Strontium 87 and strontium 86. We have to take a particular ratio. Strontium 87 divided by strontium 86. At a particular ratio, when we take these isotopes, it can be used in marine investigations, tracking the animal migrations, and in criminal forensics. Right? Then next one important, for dating of rocks. To find the age of a rock, we use strontium isotope. The same way, it is used as a tracer. Radioactive isotope can be taken. To take a radioactive strontium, which is acting as a radioactive tracer in finding the source of archaeological materials such as timber as well as coins. Next, uses of barium. Barium is used in the extraction of materials. In metallurgy, we use it, and in pyrotechnics, petroleum, mining industry, and especially in radiology. So in the diagnosis, especially in the radiology, we use barium. Then in copper refining process, it is a deoxidizer. It just removes oxygen in the copper refining process. Then barium can be mixed with nickel. It will have the capacity of emitting electrons, right? So that it can be used in the electron tubes and in spark plug electrodes. When barium is mixed with nickel, it emits electrons, so that it is used in electron tubes and spark plug electrodes. Then it just removes the oxygen from the electronic devices. Remove oxygen in the electronic devices like television. So in the electronic tubes, oxygen can be removed. Then we take barium 133 isotope, barium with mass number 133, which is used in gamma ray detector for calibrating the gamma ray detector. It just detect gamma ray emission, so that in nuclear chemistry, this is used as a source in the calibration of gamma ray detectors. The last radioactive element, radium, in group number 2. As we know that this is radioactive in nature, in the extraction of uranium from its ore, we get radium, and it has self-luminous capacity. It has a capacity of glowing nature. So it can be used in watches and the aircraft watches and nuclear panels, and in the instrument, dials, even clock. So radium can be used because of its self-luminous property. So with this, chemical properties and uses of alkaline earth metals over. Tomorrow we will discuss general characteristics of compounds of alkaline earth metals. We will take some compounds and their properties can be studied tomorrow. Okay, thank you.